So I've worked in the fields. I'm a tech at heart. I'm a gearhead at heart, and I've worked in the field. I came up through my primary industry that I started in was HVAC, but I did a tremendous amount of HVAC and plumbing, electrical. Got into the garage door side, got into the roofing side. Don't know why, but I did. So I've worked in the trades. I'm not just this really incredibly good-looking person that just that just knows a little bit about stuff. So I've sold millions of dollars in services, and I don't tell you that to brag. I tell you that because it's just fact, right? If you have really good communication skills, you can sell quite a bit without being sleazy, cheesy, and all kind of high pressure. And anyway, I've consulted, coached, trained companies just like you guys all over the country. That's what I do now. I speak with companies all over the country, most of the time via Zoom, but I love kind of doing these kinds of things. And I'm the owner and founder of the Blue Collar Wave. And there's a lot of blue collar companies out there that do similar things that I do. So we all have one goal in mind, and that is to really elevate the trades. For me, it's personal because that's where I came from. Everything I have, everything I've ever, everything, all was because of the trades. So for me, people say to me, Jim, why do you do this? You don't need to do this. You sold your company, blah, blah, blah. I have to. I just feel an innate need to be able to continue to connect with people, friends that I've known, people that I've known for years, and help people along with really elevating the trades and elevating their businesses. So let's talk about perception. Perception. As leaders, as business owners, as business managers, as employees, as service people, even office staff, you all have the power to either change or solidify public perception. Change or solidify public perception. What people think of us, okay? So let me ask you a question. When we talk about plumbing and HVAC, when we ask like the general consumer, what do you think? What do you think goes in their mind when they hear plumber? Right? What goes through a consumer's mind when they hear plumber? They know how to party. They know how to party. This is going to be expensive. What else do they think about plumbers? Yeah. Right. What do they think about HVAC guys? What do you think about what do you think the general consumer thinks about a contractor? Period. Asshole. Con men. HVAC guys. What else? What else does general consumers think about when they think about a contractor? I don't care if it's plumbing. I don't care if it's HVAC. I don't care if it's roofing. Overcharging. Do they think you guys are? Do you think general consumers think you guys are educated? Nope. No, they think you're a bunch of morons. Why is that? Why is that? Why do they think you guys are like pristine, neat, clean? Because we didn't go to college, right? Right. Some of us didn't go to college. So if you didn't go to college, you must not be educated. That's what the general consumer thinks. How did this crap get in their minds? The media. The media. What was that? Nobody knows how to talk. Right? We're a bunch of knuckle draggers. Isn't that terrible that the general consumer thinks that of our industries? Why does that happen? Where did that come from? Where did that come from? From where? The 80s?
Personal experience.
Personal experience? All of the above. See, general consumer thinks that contractors are all these things that you guys said. They're sleazy, cheesy, rip-offs, they're dirty, plumbers with the vertical smile, the whole deal, right? That's what they think. Sorry, guys. Sorry, man. I got to dig on the plumbers. I'm an HVAC guy, So, but at the end of the day, that's what people think. And the reason they think that is because we perpetuate that as an industry. We perpetuate that as an industry. See, what do we do when we know that we're in front of a customer? I don't care if it's a commercial customer, residential customer. I don't care if you're dealing with a builder. I don't care if you're dealing with little old lady Jones in her house. They have this thought process in their mind. And as people that work with these people, what do we do to either change or solidify that perception? Do we do anything to change that perception? Consciously.
Treat them nice.
Treat them nice, with respect. Teach them.
Explain the issue to them and how you're going to do the job.
Absolutely. Professional. Ooh, what does professionalism mean? I love that word. Sorry, I'm going to put you on the spot, dude. What does professional mean?
Go into the situation with knowledge and to relate what he said. Go into it with knowledge and explain to the customer exactly what you're going to do, why you're going to do, and when you're going to do it. Create value.
Create value. Ooh, what does that mean? Create value. What does that mean? Yeah. Right? Create value. So these are all, guys, these are all absolute bullshit buzzwords. Can I say that? Am I allowed to say that? So these are all absolute bullshit buzzwords. Create value, professionalism, all these things. It's all real, don't get me wrong. But see, these are buzzwords that we kind of make up on our own. And the customer has no idea what we're talking about because they still think we're sleazy, cheesy rip-off artists. So you're professional, but they still think you're going to rip them off. You provide value, but they still think you're going to, sneak into their daughter's underwear drawer. Not that that's ever happened, right? So that's what we're dealing with, ladies and gentlemen. We're dealing with a general consumer that just doesn't trust what we do. And there are reasons for that. Do you know that consumers purchase more on emotions than they do on actual rationale? Most consumers, and it's not only consumers. I'm lumping everybody in. Contractors, builders, right? I know a lot of you guys doing commercial work and building work and going, this doesn't really pertain to me. I'm telling you, they purchase emotionally as well, even with their budgets. Emotional purchases. In fact, 90% of buying decisions are emotional buying decisions. So if 90% of buying decisions are emotional, what do you think that tells us? How do people buy? What are people buying on? Emotion, right? What they feel. People buy on how they feel. And we all do it. Even the most budget-conscious, rationale people, all of us do it. Sometimes we'll make a purchase based on how we feel. All right, some case studies. So when we do studies of higher-level CEOs of larger organizations in the services, almost 90% of CEOs agree and say that soft skills are far more important to them than tech skills. Some of you are going to be they are going to disagree with me on this. And some of you might even say, well, that's the problem with our industry. No one's technical anymore. Everyone's just trying to sell shit. And although that might be true, when you're dealing with companies that are doing $300, $400, $500 million a year and they tell you soft skills are far more important to them than tech skills, what does that tell you? Important. It really it just tells you that they value people that are able to connect with other people. You can teach technical skills sometimes. You can teach technical skills. You can teach soft skills as well. So, with that being said, all right, what the heck are soft skills? What are soft skills? Tell me, anybody. Communication. What else? What else is soft skills?
Getting a customer to open up to you and tell you what they really want.
Ooh, that's a good, that's a skill, right? To be able to communicate with somebody to a point where they'll open up with you. That's part of communication. What else is soft skills?
Make them feel good about buying. Yeah.
Making people feel good about buying. That emotional purchase, right? And but that's all also part of communication. What else is soft skills?
Finding a common ground.
Finding a common ground. education. These are all parts of soft skills. All of these things that you just discussed are all verbal soft skills. We agree. It's the method in which we communicate with somebody. Would we agree? Well, if that's the case, let's talk about identifying really what soft skills are. Because everyone had kind of different answers. And for you business owners and business leaders and managers here, if your staff is unclear of what soft skills are, do you think they're going to be able to implement them? If your staff is unclear of what professionalism is, do you think they're going to be able to implement it? You know how many times we do as business owners, I did it myself, you need to go out there and be more professional. Well, what does that mean?
Give me an example.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. So let's identify what soft skills actually are. Soft skills. Everyone, if we don't identify, if we don't clearly define what soft skills are, you're going to get this, right? Everyone defines soft skills differently. What are they? There's a different definition. And I'm telling you, we just heard a little bit of it. But if we polled everybody here, you'd probably get 30 different definitions. What about your team has to guess on what standards are? They have to guess. Training. If you're going to train on soft skills and you're not clear of what soft skills are, your training is going to suck. All right? It's not going to stick. It's going to be a problem. Also, soft skills require a method to measure. If we're going to train on soft skills, get people trained up on soft skills, we want to be able to measure how we're doing. At the end of the day, that's really key, right? Anytime we do training, we want to have a form of measure. So, if that's the case, let's talk about the 4 pillars of soft skills. 4 pillars of soft skills. The first is how we look. Oh, you mean it's not only about communication? That's part of soft skills, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to insult some people here tonight, and I'm not sorry. If you look like shit, smell like shit, right? If your truck looks like it just ran through a dumpster, if you open up your van and everything you ate last week is still sitting on the floor, that's part of how we look. I see a lot of people wearing company uniforms, company branded stuff. That's part of your look. Your vehicle is part of your look. There's that word professionalism. It's appearance. So back in the day, I used to have my company years and years ago. You probably remember this. You weren't allowed to have this. Remember that? Remember those days? Weren't allowed to have any of this. Today, it's obviously completely different, and that's cool. But sometimes, you have to understand the perceptions of people, and especially where we live, because we live in God's waiting room, right? So especially where we live. And you're dealing with elderly people a lot. Do we deal with a lot of elderly people? So when elderly people, when they grew up, when they came up in the 50s and 60s and so on, and now they're in their 80s, and you're working in their houses, and you show up looking like you're going to kill them? Do you think they're going to be comfortable with anything you say? Probably not. Now, I'm not talking about how good looking you are. I'm just saying is, look at yourself and say, how do others perceive me? Do I look neat, clean, and organized? And if I don't, I got to do something about it. Did I forget to shave for a week and tell my boss, I'm growing a beard? Right? He's laughing. That's exactly what you do, right? So, right, right, all of these things. So how you look has a lot to do with it. Did you just eat a garlic sandwich and then think you're going to go and talk to somebody? That's all part of soft skills, ladies and gentlemen. It's not just the speech. What about how we carry ourselves? How we carry ourselves. Do we walk around kind of slouchy? Right? Do we do that? Are we confident? Do we have the right kind of attitude? Or are we always just pissed off? Happens. It happens. People see that. People see that. How we listen. You probably all heard this, right? God gave us 2 of these and 1 of these. For some reason, we use this way more than we use these. It's how we listen. And listening is a key component to really understanding others. And then how we speak, our tone, how clear we are, how we explain things, right? How we provide value, how we speak. What you're hearing here right now, ladies and gentlemen, is not my natural speaking voice. It's not. I'm originally from New Jersey. I speak very, very fast, and I'm the king of mumblers. I can mumble with the best of them. What? Where they don't belong. There you go. Exactly. We add words where they don't belong. What you're hearing here is many, many years of me consciously changing the method in which I speak and communicate on purpose. Now, this is my normal speech. But when I go home and I'm hanging out with buddies in New Jersey, I fall back to that. And I start mumbling and I start speaking very quickly. And it's just not, I found that it was very difficult to communicate with somebody else when they just couldn't understand what the heck you were saying. And some of us do the same things here. Some of us either speak quickly or mumble or speak down, right? That's it, right? How we speak makes a difference. Absolutely makes a difference. So, soft skills, in a nutshell, as it says right there, are the total experience that a customer has with your team. That's soft skills. From appearance to behavior to attitude, communication, professionalism, and emotional intelligence. We're going to talk quite a bit about emotional intelligence here, okay? But that's soft skills in a nutshell. Let's talk about the emotional intelligence side of things, okay? Because at its core, right, it is about emotional intelligence. It's about the behaviors that earn trust. It's about the behaviors that calm tensions and create loyalty. Now let's talk about it. Part of emotional intelligence, as we were talking about before, is communication. How we actually communicate, right? Not only the words that we use, but the method in which we speak. Are we communicating with people or are we just talking to people? Empathy. Everyone ever heard the word empathy and sympathy? Empathy and sympathy, right? What's the difference? What's the difference between empathy and sympathy? Who can tell me?
Feeling sorry for somebody or feeling how they feel.
Feeling sorry for somebody or feeling how they feel. You're absolutely right. I'll give you a visual. You're on a cruise ship, right? You're on a boat, and this dude's hanging off the guardrail, puking his guts out, right? He's sick as a dog, seasick. Sympathy is, oh my God, you're coming up next to him and you're puking next to him. That's sympathy. Empathy is, oh my God, are you feeling all right? Let me get you some Dramamine, right? That's empathy. That's empathy. Understanding how others feel. That's empathy, being empathetic. Situational awareness. This is where you have to read people and read rooms. It's where you have to have some situational awareness. Sometimes we'll walk into a space, we'll walk into somebody's house, we'll walk into a building, we'll walk into wherever, and we start saying things that don't fit the scene right now. We got to be really careful. We got to be really careful on situational awareness. Emotional control, staying calm under pressure. Nobody wants to see you show up in their house or their business. You feel unloved? Nobody wants to see you there. They're not waking up one morning going, man, I hope shit comes out of my shower pan. Yeah. Right? No one's doing that. No one's waking up one morning saying, man, it's 95 degrees. I hope my AC doesn't work. Because I can't wait to call the guys in. No one does that. So what happens is we need to exercise emotional control. Because when we get to people's houses, when we get to people's businesses, what happens? They're pissed off. They're angry. Are they angry at you?
They're angry at the general
Situation, right? But who do they take it out on?
The guy there to fix it.
Yeah, well, they take it out on somebody before they take it out on you. Who do they take it out on? They take it out on the office staff that answers the phone. That's what they take it out on. And then you show up and they take. So you have to be able to exercise emotional control, staying calm under those situations. Confidence. Right? You need to have confidence. That just speaks for itself. Sometimes, we're not very confident because we're tired, emotions are running high, and now we're being dispatched or maybe going somewhere where, this thing's like failed 15 times and now I have to go and I'm not confident, right? You have to have a level of confidence. You ever hear fake it till you make it? And then adaptability. In this industry, you have to be like chameleons. You just do. You have to adapt to situations. You have to adapt to Mrs. Jones' house where little Johnny's running around kind of throwing stuff at you, or you have to adapt to a building environment where the drywaller's pissed off because you didn't have the air on, or they ran the air and they didn't take and they left the filters in there while they were drywalling. Right? You have to adapt. That's just the way it is. That's these are all part of emotional intelligence. It's all part of soft skills. All part of soft skills. So I want you to meet a buddy of mine. His name is Mike. And Mike had a business. He sold it beginning of last year, and it was not to PE, by the way. Sold the beginning of last year. And it was a good little company. I don't know, 7 or 8 trucks. He did HVAC plumbing and air. And HVAC plumbing and heating, rather. And I don't know, 7 or 8 trucks. They did okay, right? He had other challenges. He had pricing challenges. I helped him kind of go through all of that. And we corrected his pricing, corrected his marketing, corrected a bunch of stuff. But he had a huge problem, and it was bad reviews. Not because he had bad techs. Actually, he had really good techs, highly technically competent techs. But what he didn't have was people that would be empathetic to others, would communicate with others effectively. So his callback rate, his callback rate was very low, single digit, very, very low. But people would still give them crappy reviews. Say, how could that be? I'm a good tech, and yet I'm getting crappy reviews. Why? Why do you think a guy like that with good techs, solid business, was getting crappy reviews? People thought they were getting scammed. Why?
High pricing, not setting expectations.
There you go. High pricing, not setting expectations. Maybe there was some communication challenges. We took him. We worked with the crew, and when I first started with him, I think he had. I don't remember how many actual reviews he had, but he was at like a 3.2 or 3.7 on Google. We got him up to like 4.5 or 4.6, and it takes some time, right? Takes some time, but it's changing the method in which his staff was making others feel. That's all it is. How does the person that is going to hand you dollars, how does that person feel? They have to feel safe. Absolutely. Every interaction builds or breaks trust. Think about this statement for a minute. Public perception isn't just external. Public perception is also internal. How your techs feel about your dispatchers. Because we all know what dispatchers do all day, right? They sit around trying to figure out how to make your life miserable. At least that's what I thought when I was in the field. Right? How your installers feel about your sales people. Love them, right? Love them. Love them. Except when you get on a job site and half the crap's not there. Right? Love them. How about how your general employees, all of your employees, feel about you guys as owners and managers? How about that? Okay? Because those perceptions, ladies and gentlemen, filter out to the field. If you have internal projections that are effed up, in other words, I tell my guys, hey, you need to go out there and be more professional. But then when my people show up back to the office, I am not professional, whatever that actually means. So that has to match. Listen, I need you to go out there and be nicer. But yet when you come back to the office, I'm a real asshole. Doesn't match. So if the internal perception isn't what we want it to be, don't be surprised when the external perception is no different. Don't be surprised, okay? Because every interaction either builds or breaks trust. And much of your team's kind of perception challenges start internally. A little tough to hear from some of the owners, but the truth is the truth. So let's do it. Let's play a little game. It's called the cringe factor. I need total honesty here, though. It's called the cringe factor. Total honesty. I'm going to ask you 4 questions. What's one thing your texts say that make you cringe as owners?
I can't find this. Google it.
I can't find this. Google it. All right. One thing your texts say, one thing your technicians or your service people say that make you cringe.
Nobody ever told me this.
No, nobody ever told me that, right? Nobody ever told me that. I can't figure it out. Yeah. That's what you want to hear from your tech. I can't figure it out. Holy shit, what am I paying you for, man? I can't figure it out. All right. How about this? One thing that makes you cringe about what your CSRs or dispatchers say. It's a quick job.
On your way home.
On your way home. I love that one. On your way home. Could you just, right? How many times you hear that? Yeah. She only wants you, so I'm going to send you. Right? All right, how about this? One thing your salespeople say that make you cringe. It's an easy job. Easy job. Oh, it's real quick, easy. We're going to make a ton of money on this one. All right, so this one now, I need total honesty from the employees now on this next one. Yes.
Would you like to get these desserts passed out? If you guys would like a piece of cheesecake, you guys just raise your hand and make it a little easier on it.
You're going to be bouncing off the wall after eating that. That's like pure sugar. All right, while she's passing that out, right? Here's the last one. I need total honesty from the service people here, from the field staff here, or even anybody. I need total honesty because there's some bosses in here. What's one thing your boss says that makes you cringe? Figure it out. What's one thing your boss says that makes you cringe? Yeah, what's taking so long? Yeah. You ever have a boss that says, you got to put the screws to this person? You ever have a boss that said that? Yeah. You got to put the screws to this person. You got to, this is a pain in the ass customer, so I need you to go out there and really find something. I need some money out of this person. Right? So bosses will say stuff like that. What's the matter with what's really wrong with any of that communication? Like any of the things that you guys said. Oh, it's an easy job. It's no big deal. Perception. Internal perception. So when your salesperson says it's an easy job and the installers show up there and they're like, holy shit, what are the installers thinking now? Salesperson has no idea. Salesperson has no idea. All right, so we talked about things that people say that maybe they shouldn't. Let's talk about what good might sound like. Let's talk about what good might sound like. I'm going to give you some scenarios here. We have a CSR, we have a customer upset because we couldn't make a certain time, right? I couldn't get there. I told them between 10 and 12, we couldn't get there. So we're short-staffed, and the CSR dispatcher says to the customer, listen, I'm really sorry, but we're really short-staffed today. Sounds like a fair answer, right? Sounds like a fair answer. Hey, we're really short-staffed today. I had a couple people call out sick, so I'm going to be a little late. Better way to say it. Thank you for your patience.
I understand that. We got there as best as we can, as fast as we can.
Boom! Boom! There you go. I completely understand your frustration. Let me take care of this right now for you. Boom. Gold star there. So, what's the difference, though? Both communicated the same thing. Acknowledgement. One's an excuse and acknowledgement. Think about this for a minute, guys. Think about this for a minute. When we're communicating with others, especially in a difficult situation, we absolutely have to acknowledge what they're going through. It's that acknowledgement. It's not, we can't just dismiss people. Because this first one here, I'm sorry, we're just short-staffed. If I'm the consumer, if I'm the person on the other end, you know what I'm thinking in my mind? I don't give a shit if you're short-staffed. Why is that my problem? How did that become my problem? Exactly. Right? Why does that all of a sudden my issue, my challenge as a consumer? As the person that I'm waiting, I'm going to give you money and you're telling me you're short-staffed? Well, fix it, man. Right, exactly. Exactly. All right, let's do another one. Yes.
But what if you tell them you can give them an upcharge for a rush order?
An upcharge for a rush order, like if somebody...
Do you think that would change perspective, though?
Possibly. We have to think about that, though. That's a good question. So the question is, what if we say, we can get somebody out there sooner, it will cost you more. Now, I wouldn't say it. Right, I wouldn't say it quite like that, but Right. So there are companies out there that do that. Okay. There are companies out there that advertise. It's right in their name, and 1 hour. It's right in their name, and right, and they'll get there in 1 hour, but it's going to cost you more. But see, if there's an understanding that it's going to cost more, is that okay? If there's an understanding. Exactly. So here we have an HVAC guy and a customer. They give the customer the price, and the customer says, "Holy crap, that's a lot of money, dude." And the HVAC guy says, "Yeah, man, I know, but I don't make the prices." And if you ever say that? Yeah, say that all the time, right? I know it's a lot, man. I don't make the prices. How do you think would have been a better way to say that?
Price of materials,
Price of material. What was that?
I appreciate that you feel this way, but I can, but our parts are like, the best around.
So we have a lot of conversation about trying to explain what our parts cost and what our labor costs and all that kind of stuff. And they don't care about that, okay? Let's think about when we're communicating with people in difficult situations, we must absolutely validate what they're feeling first. It's the most pansy-ass way to do things, but that's how you get people to calm down and respond at the end of the day. You must absolutely address their concern. So a better situation would be, what's your main concern about the cost? Is it the upfront investment? Is it are you worried about the value? Right? We're asking a question. We're not just dismissing it. See, the moment we go right defensive and they say, "Oh, that's expensive." Well, materials are expensive nowadays. No shit. But that doesn't help the cause. So if we go back and now ask a question, say, "You know what? Good, I understand. So give me a little bit of insight. Why do you feel this is a lot of money?" Let them tell you. They'll tell you. But now you're validating what it is that they're concerned with. How about a plumber who ended up finding more stuff and it wasn't part of what they originally quoted? Happens, right? You're going to go do a job and all of a sudden, boom, you find more stuff. Right? So what do you say? Listen, that's not part of the quote. It's going to cost you more.
just recommend it that they fix it. Then it's up to them.
Recommend that they fix it, then it's up to them. How about if we find stuff that maybe we couldn't see? Happens all the time. So, you know what? You say somebody, "Listen, here's what I found. I didn't see it when I was here originally. And here's why it would be more cost effective if you took care of it now versus having to come back." Salesperson gets hesitation on a high ticket item. Same kind of thing like this HVAC tech, right? And a salesperson says, like the homeowner says, "Man, I don't know, it's a lot of money." The salesperson says, "Well, hey, you'll save a whole lot more if you do it now." Or worse, I used to say this. Or worse, but Knock used to tell me to say this. He'd say, "Hey, listen, it'll never be cheaper than it is right now." Holy crap, don't say that. It'll never be cheaper than it is right now. I'm not validating anything. I'm not acknowledging their feelings. I'm not acknowledging why they're upset at this point. I have no idea why they're upset about a price. Did they have a mental budget before? I don't know. So how about this? Maybe asking a question. What specifically is holding you back? Is it the price? Is it the product? Is it the service? Is it me? Like, what's holding you back? Let them tell you. They might say, "Yeah, it's just more than I anticipated." Cool, we can work with that. But validate what they're feeling. That, my friends, is communication. That's part of soft skills. See, what happens is we get our undies in a wad, and we immediately feel like, "Oh, they don't want to buy, they're cheap, they're this, they're that," and we go right into defense mode. And we wear it. And we look upset, we look angry. "Oh, these people aren't going to buy anything. They're too cheap. They live in Cape Coral." What's that? Lack of emotional intelligence. You're 100% correct. This is truly understanding the emotions that somebody else feels. Remember what we said earlier. People buy 90% of their purchases are emotional purchases. So when they're giving you objections and when they're giving you a hard time, it's because you violated an emotion that they have and you're not validating it. You're not having a conversation about it. You're not talking to them about it. Let's talk about it a little further. Anyone ever hear the 4 levels of competence? Anyone ever hear that? 4 levels of learning, 4 levels of competence. Check it out. First level of, this happens to all of us, by the way, when we're learning something. The first level of competency is what's called unconscious incompetence. This is where you don't know what you don't know, but you think you do. We call it the teenage stage. You don't know what you don't know, but you think you do. Like you're making mistakes, but you don't realize you're doing it. You're pissing people off, but you don't realize you're doing it. You're cutting when customers are speaking, then you cut them off, you don't realize you're doing it. Right? You're just thinking you're doing a good job. I'm doing my job. That's unconscious incompetence. You don't know what you don't know, but you think you do. Next level, you move into what's called conscious incompetence. This is when you realize, oh crap, there's stuff I don't know. This is when you come to the realization, holy mackerel, I just heard a recording of myself speaking with a customer on the phone, and I sound pissed. Right? This is where you don't know. This is where you start to realize there's stuff I don't know. Then you move into the third level of competency, which is conscious competence. This is where you get to a point where you know what to do, you know what to say, you know how to present it, and I don't care about whether it's soft skills or not. Technical skills, driving, it doesn't matter. You get to a point where you reach this stage, stage 3, which is conscious competence. This is where you know exactly what to do, but it's not natural. It's not automatic. It's not easy. You have to think about it. Say, okay, I know I have to do this step next, or I know I have to say this next, or I got a really angry customer. Let me think about what I'm going to say first. Right? It's not automatic. And then you reach a level of unconscious competence. And unconscious competence is where things are just automatic. It happens. You know what to do, and you don't have to think about it. It just happens for you. You know what to do, you don't have to think about it. Here's the key. Stage 3, level 3, is where most people push back. Level 3 is where most people have a hard time. Level 3 is where you'll hear things from your staff that will say, I don't talk like that. I don't say that. That's not how I do it. That's what you'll hear when you hit level 3. That's where most people quit or revert back to how they always did things. Level 3 is the most difficult part of this learning experience. But here's the thing. Level 3 is where growth happens. Level 3 is where you start to come to the realization that, okay, I know what to do. I have to think about it. And you can only be just one call away, one practice away, one time away from nailing it. And then the next time, what will happen is all of a sudden stuff will fall out of your mouth and you go, holy shit, where'd that come from? It'll happen. It only comes with practice. But that's only when you recognize when you are in that conscious competence stage and you start, things are difficult. It's embarrassing. You're saying the wrong things. You don't know 100% what to do. Like this. That's why that's a difficult stage. Very difficult stage. So let's continue. Can everyone stand up for me for a minute? You guys just stand up for a second? Stand up for just a second. All right, do some jumping jacks. No. All right, here's what you're going to do, right? Fold your arms like you normally fold them. Just do this, like you normally fold them. Normal, right? Feels kind of comfortable? Everything's cool? All right, switch. Put the one arm the other way. Like a different way than you normally fold them. Feels weird, doesn't it? Isn't it uncomfortable? Isn't it strange? That's level 3. That's that discomfort. When you're asking somebody to do something that is uncomfortable, think about that arm exercise. So you're not going to, after this meeting, you're not going to walk out and now all of a sudden start folding your arms differently, are you? But see, if we made a challenge and said for the next 30 days, I need you to fold your arms like this, guess what's going to happen on day 31? You're going to fold your arms like this because it's practice. Right now, the arm folding exercise is literally what people feel, that discomfort, when you're asking them to do something that's uncomfortable, that they don't normally do, that's different. That's level 3. Thank you very much. You guys can have a seat. All right. Anyone ever have a vehicle that had a bad transmission? How did it, yeah, right? How did it drive? How did it drive? It didn't. When it did drive, how did it drive? Right? It would miss, it would wind out, it was a mess, right? It was kind of bumpy, it sucked. Well, think about communication the same way. See, when our communication gears are out of line, then the communication ends up being bumpy. The communication ends up being jerky. You end up stalling, those kinds of things. So put together something called what you're seeing here, the 5 gears of people power. And the 5 gears of people power are basically this. First gear. I said, when we're having conversations, we have to think about this in gears. First gear is it's called self-awareness. Pretty obvious. Am I self-aware? Am I angry right now? Did I just get done doing 5 service calls with 4.5 people that sucked, and now I have to go to another service call? My dispatcher says, hey, on your way home. Right? What does that do to my attitude? Exactly. And then who gets to feel that? The customer. Who else gets to feel that? Your wife. Who else gets to feel that? You. The dispatcher. Everyone feels it. Okay? Self-awareness. Know your RPM. Second gear it's called stay and drive. And this is self-regulation. This is where we want to regulate ourselves. This is where we want to, if we're upset, we need to regulate that. We need to regulate that. Prime the engine, motivation. So motivation is one of those things that we have to clearly understand. Motivation is one of those things that we have to understand not only our customer's motivation, but our motivation. I'm going to give you some scenarios. I got poop coming out of my shower pan. So as a customer, what's my motivation right now? Get the poop out of my shower pan. Is that really the true motivation, though?
She wants your drains fixed and flowing again.
Drains fixed and flowing again? What's the motivation here?
Peace of mind.
Peace of mind. There's your motivation. Yeah, so the obvious is, I need to get the crap out of my pan and I want my drains flowing again. But the motivation comes from, I want to feel good, which means that I need peace of mind. Now, as a tech, you get the call to go and clear the shower pan. What's your motivation? Cha-ching. What's your motivation? What's that?
Be the hero.
Be the hero. That's a great motivation. That's a good motivation. See, a lot of techs will say, well, I got to go clean the pan. I got to go clean the sewer. I got to go clean the drain. I got to make this thing flow again for them. See, that's the mechanical side. That's the obvious motivation. The motivation on your side, however, can't be so obvious. It should be to fulfill that customer's motivation, which was peace of mind. Get their life back. That's your motivation. See, the mechanical side, it is what it is. Somebody calls, it's 95 degrees outside, and they're telling you it's no AC, and they got their mom in the house, and she's got heart issues, and you need to get out here right away. What's their motivation? Make mom comfortable. Concern, health, right? It's a motivation. What's your motivation as a tech to go? Make mom comfortable. Make mom comfortable. So we need to understand that. This is what I mean by soft skills and people skills. It's having a deep understanding of what's going on. All right, prime the engine, motivation. Read the road, empathy. We talked about empathy, right? We need to have empathy, plain and simple. We need to be empathetic to people's cause. And sometimes, sometimes we say, man, that customer was a pain in the ass. Ever had one of those?
Every day.
Yeah, right? Man, that customer was such a pain in the ass. He was so angry. Was he angry at you? Angry at the situation. So is that customer really a pain in the ass? Or is he just so frustrated and you happen to bear the brunt of it? Or your CSR or whoever answered the phone, right? So we have to understand and show empathy. And we can't just immediately go to an angry customer and the hair on the back of our neck stands up. because this person's pissed. Empathy. Read the road. And then shift the vibe, social skills. This is where you want to reset the energy. So if somebody's upset, if somebody's angry, like I said earlier, no one's calling you up because they just, want to have you out to the house, check their AC or check their plumbing. They're calling you up with a problem. So if they're calling you up with a problem, they're upset. Now we have to diffuse it and kind of reset that vibe. How would we reset somebody that's upset? Probably not. It's the best answer. How would we reset somebody that's upset? Acknowledge them, right? Do you think if somebody's really upset, and I don't care if they're upset because you're now there for the third time because the last two guys couldn't fix it, right? That's valid. It happens. Now they might be upset at you, but they're upset at the company. Do you think it's valid or fair to maybe say to somebody, man, dude, I'm sorry, it looks like you're having a really bad day. Yeah, having a really bad day. Just acknowledging this person. That's it. We forget, especially in today's AI world, that we're dealing with other human beings that are emotional, that have challenges, that have issues. Does anyone give a rat's ass about your challenges and issues?
Nope.
No, they don't. They don't. Your employer should or does. Your managers do. But see, the customers don't. So it's all about them. And that's where we have to make sure that we're able to hone our social skills and reset the challenge that's going on. So these are the 5 gears. So when you're having conversation with somebody, especially owners, managers, you're having a conversation with somebody and you realize, holy crap, they just dealt with a difficult customer. Ask them, like, what gear were you in, man, when you did that? What gear were you in? Get people thinking in that manner. All right, really cool. So knowing the gears is one thing. It's only half the battle. How do we train on that? How do we make sure that people are thinking in that manner? So we have something called the CPR coaching framework. C stands for clarity. Said it before. Be professional. What the hell does be professional mean? Give me some specifics. That's what clarity is. So when you're training your staff on being more professional, tell them what you actually mean. When you get to the house, here's what I want you to say. Here's what I want you to do. Here's how I want you to approach. Right? That's clarity. P stands for practice. I know how much you guys absolutely love role play. I know you wake up every morning thinking, man, I hope we do role play today. How many people love role play? Be honest. How many people really like role play? You guys like role play? You like role play? So notice how many hands went up. How many hands went up? Just a couple. Just a couple hands went up. Why do you not like role play? Why do you not? For those people that don't like role play, why do you not like it?
I just like to get in.
Get it done? But like role play in the office where we're going to role play a scenario, like a lot of guys just hate that. Why do they hate it? It's uncomfortable, right? It's uncomfortable. You feel kind of silly. It's not realistic. It's not? Exactly, right? It's not realistic when I'm talking to my boss. Wait. My boss is going to find out what I really say when I go out there because I'm not going to be able to verbalize it like I do when I'm out there. See, when we do role play, when I go out to companies and I do role play and I sit in front of somebody and say, let's role play something, I'll know if they're full of shit because they're not saying like they're mumbling and stumbling. How many people use carpet protectors, booties, when you walk into somebody's house? Some of you do, right? Some of you do. In a residential scenario, a lot of people do. Oops, don't know what the heck that was. Let's try that again. All right, so a lot of people do. When I ask people, hey, let's role play, I want you to role play putting on your carpet protectors, and they're doing this. I know they never put them on, right? So role play is one of those things that we have to absolutely, as employers, as managers, as owners, do with our staff. Role play. But we has to be a truly safe space. We can't make them feel uncomfortable. And you said it perfectly. It's unrealistic. It's because we make it unrealistic. And in my company, we did plumbing, heating, air, and electrical. And in the mornings, a lot of times in the mornings, we'd have staff that would come in and they were leaving, going to their trucks. And I would literally, as they're walking by, I'd stand in front of them and go, dude, I'm really pissed off today, man. This is like the third time you've been here. And they knew instantly it was role play time. Instantly. And they role played with me. A minute. Then they went on their way. So it doesn't have to be a session. Who the heck wants to sit for 3 hours and friggin' role play? I don't. But you do have to do some of that. And you create realistic scenarios like that. Make it real. And then we want to reinforce. As employers, as managers, as owners, often what we look, and even office staff, we look to figure out what everyone's doing wrong. Oh, look what he did wrong. And then we get in their ass about what they did wrong. How about reinforcing things that they did correctly, especially when it comes to soft skills? Calling it out and saying, you know what, man? I heard you on the phone with Mrs. Jones. That was a tough call. What gear were you in? Reinforce it. The thing with CPR method is it's an ever-evolving thing. So you give clarity, you practice, you reinforce. Then you give clarity on something new. You practice, you reinforce that. So it's always, always, always going on. That's the CPR method for reinforcing those gears, okay? Challenge for you guys for this week. Challenge for you guys for next week. Pick one area of focus in those 5 gears. Just one area of focus. Pick one and work on it. Pick one and get really good at it. Pick one as a company and say, this week we're going to work on this. Pick one phrase to improve. Just one phrase. If you improve one phrase this week, one phrase next week, there's 52 weeks in a year. Can we improve 52 phrases, the way we say something? Heck yeah, okay? Do quick role plays, just like I showed you. Quick role plays, very, very simple. And then you want feedback. We want the continuous feedback. So like on a Monday, you can say, okay, we're going to work on self-awareness. And then the following week, we're going to say, we're going to work on self-regulation. Then maybe the third week, we're going to work on social skills. But it has to be a conscious effort from the owners and managers, guys. It just has to be if you're going to rely, and I love the techs. It's what I've been a tech my whole life. But if you're going to rely on your techs to do this, it's just not going to happen. Owners and managers are going to make this thing happen. Plain and simple, all right? So, how about this? I realize that we have some challenges out there. And I also realize that most people are just not going to do this kind of stuff. So I developed an app. And the app is called objectionkiller.ai. I'm not here to sell you anything. What this does is it's a simulator, and it's a soft skills simulator. It's actually, I initially developed it as a sales simulator. And what you do is you put in any objection, anything the customer said, and it'll spit out, okay, why they said that, and maybe what you could have said to respond to it. It'll spit all that out. I'm going to do a live demo of it for you guys. You guys are all right with that? Do a quick live demo of it? What's that? Phone too, yeah. Go to objectionkiller.ai if I can only figure out how to actually do this. How do we stop the share? Okay, maybe I won't do a demo of it. Okay, you know what we're going to do? Since I can't do it there, we're going to do it here. All right? I'm sorry for you guys. Take a look here for a second. And what this does here, just for whatever reason it's not pulling up there. I don't know why. What this does is it'll allow you to put in any objection that you get from a customer, any challenge, anything at all. Anything at all. Give me something. Give me something a customer tells you. I shouldn't have to wait that long, right? I'm going to type this in real quick. Okay, so I shouldn't have to wait that long, right? I shouldn't have to wait that long. Fair objection. You're going to click this thing here that says get your response, and what AI is going to do here, this is AI that's been specifically trained by me and my team for trades and trades only. It's going to come up with a host of different things you could have said. There's an acknowledgement. Yeah, I hear you loud and clear. Waiting is clearly a challenge. So it's going to come up with those kinds of things. So, and this will be for it's too expensive. This will be for I don't want to wait that long. Any challenge at all you come up with, you put it in here, and it will tell you what you could potentially say and the methodology behind it. But here's the other thing. Remember those 5 gears we just talked about? So the 5 gears are right here where it says social skills training. And they're right over here. And these are those 5 gears that we just talked about. So you don't have to remember anything. You can go in here and practice these 5 gears. And what it'll allow you to do is pick your trade. We'll pick HVAC. It'll allow you to pick your position. If you're a tech, if you're a CSR, if you're an owner, if you're a manager, pick your position. We'll go tech. It'll allow you to do B2C or B2B, whether you're dealing with residential customers or commercial customers. And then it gives you an option. You want this to be easy or do you want this to be challenging? We'll go to the challenging. Let's just go to this stay in drive, where this is a self-regulation thing. So what it'll do is it'll come up with a scenario. And it'll give you 4 possible answers and give you the ability to choose which one would you say is the correct answer. Problem is, I wish I could see it up there, but we can't.
Should we pull this out in front of them?
So, what's that?
Should we pull it out in front of them?
Maybe. So here, check it out. Yeah, don't pull up the app yet. Don't pull up the app yet. So here's the scenario. The scenario. The client is irritated because you're late. You're behind on schedule. Which response shows steady self-regulation and concrete path? And it gives you 4 responses. You have to choose one. And it's either you're going to choose the right one or not. And if you choose the right one, you're going to get a green. If you choose the wrong one, I happen to choose the right one, you're going to get a red. So it gives you the ability to practice certain scenarios. But I think this is the coolest part of this app, where you can do live role play with live speaking AI. Let's see if I can hopefully make this work here.
Can you hear this clearly? This is how customer objections will sound during your role play session.
Okay. So in this role play session, this is complete AI. You're going to pick whether it's B2C or B2B. We'll do B2C. You're going to pick your industry. We'll do plumbing. You're going to pick the type of customer persona. Is this an easy customer? Is this a moderate customer? Or is this an absolute pain in the ass? Let's go with the absolute pain in the ass, because that's what I like. And then you're going to click here where it says practice your session. And what it'll do is it'll give you a scenario and ask you to agree. Here's the scenario. The scenario is the customer needs urgent repairs due to the burst pipe causing water damage in their home. But they've had previous bad experiences with plumbers overcharging them and underperforming. So that's the scenario, okay? You accept the scenario. And here's what's going to do next is actually going to speak. It's,
how do I know you're not just going to overcharge me for a rushed job like the last plumber?
how would you overcome that? What would you say? How do I know you're not just going to overcharge me like the last job, the last plumber who rushed through the job?
I understand your concern, but I'll communicate with you through every step and get photos of before, during, and after.
Why'd you call me in the first place?
What?
Come here. The coolest part about this, hey, you didn't know, is you're going to volunteer, did you? You can speak what you just said. So here's what I want you to do. When I click speak, say exactly what you just said.
I understand your frustrations, but we will communicate every step of the way and take photos of before, during, and after to show you.
Once you're done speaking, oops, it's still listening to me, you hit submit. And what it will do is it'll go through, rate your response, tell you how well you did, give you some reasons why maybe you got that objection. Why did they tell you this? And then give you some other statements that you could potentially, what you could have said that would have been a little better. This is moving a little slow, I guess, internet, but give it a minute.
Technology, huh?
Technology, man. Actually, all right, so here it is. So it gave you a 21 out of 100. Who thought that was a great response? All right, a lot of people thought that was a great response. I would have thought that was a great response, but see, AI said, nah. So it basically tells you here a detailed analysis of your response. It tells you why you got the objection in the first place, and then it gives you better response examples. I won't go through that for the time, but here you go. All right.
I hear you coming at me hard on this. I would never say that.
You would never say that, right?
You're fired up about being overcharged. I get it. No one likes feeling ripped off. Let me put your mind at ease with concrete. It's essentially the same shit I just said.
What gear are you in right now?
Right here, I've got our customer satisfaction guarantee testimonials from clients.
So similar to what you said. It's similar to what you
Just
said.
like you who were sick of shady service, I'll show you the quality of materials we use and explain our precise process.
There you go. All right. So it's just a little longer response. All right. And this is just one of many. These are all AI responses. So I'm going to get back to the actual thing here. So this is called the objectionkiller.ai. Again, not here to sell you anything. Let's get back to this. That's objectionkiller.ai, okay? And you guys can have it for nothing. You can have this app for nothing. Here's what you need to do. All you need to do is get on our Facebook page. We have a brand new Facebook group. It's called the Home Service CEO. I don't think there's 5 people in it yet. It's brand new. And when you get there, either you can use this QR code or you can go to Facebook and do the Home Service CEO. When you get there, you will see a little thing that says Objection Killer, and it's going to give you a link to get on there. Objection Killer is pretty new. This is pretty new. So the reason we're giving it away, a couple of reasons, is that we want to work out the kinks and bugs and glitches. Okay, that's why we're giving it away, and it gives you guys the opportunity to practice anywhere. It works on your phone. It works on your computer. It doesn't matter what kind of phone you have. This will be an app shortly. Right now, it's all web-based. So if you want it and you want it for free, there you have it. The companies that separate themselves aren't going to do that by just sitting through a 45-minute presentation. It's just not going to happen. They're going to do that by taking action, communication, and leadership. So some of you are probably thinking, man, okay, I get it, this whole soft skills thing, it's a thing. Got to get better at it. But I have a company to run. I have other things I have to deal with. I have operations. I have marketing. I have financials. I have sales. I have all of that. How do I put this all together? How do I even train for all of this? How do I do this? So if you want to schedule some time with me, feel free. This is a link to do it. Won't cost you anything. There's no high pressure. I won't do none of that kind of stuff. What we'll do is we'll talk about your company. Do a 30, 45-minute consult. We'll talk about your company, talk about the challenges you're having, talk about what's going on, talk about your emotional intelligence challenges that you're having, or any other challenges that you're having.
That Facebook one didn't pop up. Didn't populate as Home Service CEO.
Facebook did not populate her. Okay, so go. That's weird. It came up? Okay. I'm going to go back. You want me to go? Yeah, I told you. It's brand new. It's brand new. You want me to go back to that? Try it again? Go ahead. Try it again. It's brand new. It's like days old. If it doesn't work, just go to Facebook and look up the Home Service CEO.
I tried doing it, I still can't find it.
Wow, we suck.
Sounds like a user error.
Yeah. I'll for you guys that can't. Hey, listen. If it's again, it's brand new. It's brand new. That's why we're doing this for free. If you can't find it, I have your card. I'll send you over a link.
You're about to ask for Angry AC.
There you go. Angry AC. Okay. So you want to schedule some time with me? We can talk about it. We can come up with a plan with some solutions. There's my scheduling here. It fills up very, very quickly, sometimes on weeks out. So if you want to get together 30, 45 minutes, it won't cost you anything. I won't pressure you. I will email the shit out of you later, though, but I won't pressure you. I'm just going to be honest, man, you know? All right. Another gift. You guys have books here. Feel free to grab one. I don't have enough for everybody. It's W Home Service Profits Without Spending $1 More on Marketing. It's a book I wrote, and it's all about really increasing the profitability of your business without spending more on marketing than you do now. A lot of people think, well, I got to spend a ton more on marketing to get more business. That's not true. That's just not true. And I walk you through how to do that in the book. So while we're on, and if you want the digital version, that's the QR code for that. So while we're on the subject of marketing and what you should be, so let's see if this works. Hold on.
I'm trying. Maybe.
Are we going with user error here? I understand you're frustrated. Oh, there you go. That won't work. All right. So while we're on the subject of marketing, I put together a little marketing course. If we're on the subject of marketing, where we can actually create hyper-local marketing scenarios. It's all about hyper-local, especially guys doing residential services. It's all about owning the neighborhoods that you work in now. You have to own the neighborhoods that you work in now. And so often we go and do service like in a neighborhood, we leave, no one but the customer knows we were there. So there's a little course here, it's free. Feel free to download that. It'll ask you for some information. That's about it. It's called Marketing Hero. If that doesn't work, just go to thebluecollarwave.com/marketing-hero. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for your time. Thank you for the opportunity.